Well, hey guys, welcome. My name is Ray Strickland, and this is my wife, Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey guys. Hello.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for checking out this quick video about the CoPassion journey.
Yeah, so you're probably clicking on the video or you've come to our website and you're looking for a little bit more of, what's your purpose? You want to make sure that you're doing things that matter. Maybe you have a little bit of questions around like what type of job or next step should you take in your career or your education. Um, and maybe you just you feel like you're in the right direction, but you want some affirmation for that. And so that's why we're here, and that's what our journey is all about, is to help you answer some of those questions, maybe find out more about what you're passionate about, what you're good at. And so we're going to tell you a little bit today about what the journey is and how the journey can help you to discover your purpose within God's greater story. So we have a few slides also that we'll share to help you along the way.
All right. So, yeah, CoPassion. Here we are.
Yeah, so we're CoPassion. So what we're going to cover in this video is we're going to tell you a little bit more about what is the journey, like what does it entail, like what are the meetings like, what does it look like. We'll also tell you how you can apply for the journey. We'll answer a few frequently asked questions that we get, and then finally you'll get to hear from Sarah, who's a past participant. And so that's what we're going to cover today. So let's jump in and get started. Again, we help you to understand your purpose within God's greater story. And so I think all of us are longing for meaning, for purpose, to know that the things that we're going to do matter and feel significant. And so that's what the journey is about, is helping you discover what that is in the idea of God's greater story. So when we talk about God's greater story, what we really mean is there's really four parts. If you think about the Bible, we start with creation, and God created the world. He created things. It was good. And then shortly after, we have the fall, where sin enters the world, and so things are broken. And then later in the Bible, we see where Jesus comes on the scene, and he's there to bring redemption and help reunite that brokenness that has been experienced due to the fall. But it just doesn't end there. Finally, at the end, we see where there's a new heaven and a new earth, and everything is made whole again and made new. And so that's really God's greater story. But you've been written into it, and you're here, and he's created you for a purpose and to play a role within that story. And so we want to dive deeper in the journey to help you uncover what that purpose is. And so, Ray, if you want to put up the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about what we look at in the journey and how do we discover more about what your purpose is. And so you'll see there's a Venn diagram at the top left of the screen. And so really what we dig into to help uncover your story and uncover more about what your purpose is we look at your passions and what drives you, what fuels you, what wakes you up in the morning, really gets you going. What are you passionate about? But also we don't stop there. We also dig into what your abilities are. What are the things that you can do the best? And so we actually use assessments that are often found in business world, corporate jobs. So we look at a behavior profile, which is called the DISC assessment. We also do a spiritual gifts inventory. We look at your strengths through Strengths Finder, and we also dive into what you are, your mindsets and your values, some of the
Values.
things
Yep.
that really drive your thoughts process. And so those are your abilities. We look into those and dive deep into those. And then finally, we also look at your context, meaning the who and the where are you called to serve. And so as we look at all of those parts of who you are and who God's created you to be, then we dial into where that overlap is in that sweet spot. And so the sweet spot really is where we want, that's what the direction you want to head in. So as you're looking
Mm.
at decisions and, where should you go career wise or different opportunities that are in front of you, you really have that framework of your passions, your abilities, and your context to help you move forward in those decisions. And so I'll come back to that in a little bit, but let me tell you a little bit about what the actual activities of the journey are. So Ray will go to the next slide. So these are the main parts of the journey. We start with the kickoff. So that's the first part that you'll get involved in. So once you sign up and register to do the journey, we gather together with all of the participants for that semester. We run these journeys 3 times a year, so once each semester. And so we'll do a kickoff. It's a Friday and Saturday where we gather together. You meet other participants. It's a lot of fun. We have activities and things that we do. Also, there's food. And so that really kicks us off, gets us started in helping understand where we're going to be going over the next several weeks.
And usually,
So,
and usually with a kickoff, just to step in here for a minute, Melissa, this is where
yeah.
typically we get to meet the participants. We have a lot of fun, a lot of foods involved. We do activities, so it's a great way to connect and meet new people that are believers and to be challenged. And So a lot of times you make a connection or a friendship that can, kind of last a lifetime sometimes in these kind of environments, but it's a lot of fun. We try to make it a lot of fun, and it's not just, yeah, it's not just work. It's activities that have a purpose behind it and really sets us up for the whole journey for the next several weeks.
Yeah, the kickoff, we really do try to make it a lot of fun. So it's a great start. Really starts off with a bang and a good momentum into the rest of the journey. So following that, we'll have weekly meetings where you'll meet with that group once a week and with your CoPassion coach to go deeper into those materials and the sessions that cover your passions, abilities, and context. And so you'll meet weekly and do those. Those are about an hour and a half long meetings. So again, usually there's some snacks and fun things there as well. So you'll meet throughout the week. There's about 6 weekly meetings usually. Sometimes within the holidays and things, we'll take a break. But finally, or before you reach the end of the journey, along the way, you'll also get coaching one-on-one from your CoPassion coach. So not only will you meet in the weekly meetings, but then you'll also set time aside with your coach to meet usually about 3 times during the journey to go deeper one-on-one to help unpack maybe some of the assessments you've done or some questions that you have, or maybe just some areas of things that you haven't been able to cover personally in the weekly meetings. So you can take it a step deeper. And so you'll get that one-on-one coaching as well throughout the journey. But finally, the journey wraps up, and with the last part is the celebration. And so this is really another way to wrap it up with some fun, where you get to invite friends, coworkers, family to come and celebrate with you and sharing what God's done and taught you through the journey. And then finally, when you get to the end of the journey, and as you've gone through all the materials, you'll be able to articulate your calling in as simple as 2 words. And so you'll have been working through that throughout the journey and wordsmithing what you feel like is a unique calling to you that God's given you. So for example, my 2 words are raising generations. And so that calling really articulates not just a job, but bigger than that. What is my vocation? What is that calling, that thing I'm really compelled that I must do? And so raising generations for me is really helping pour into the lives of others and helping them grow, whether that's spiritually or physically or emotionally. But how do I help them? Not only for their own good, but that they can pass that on to generations after them and to others. And so I can do that, in my job with CoPassion, and my job when I was a teacher, or in my neighborhood with my friends and neighbors. How am I helping them to become better at what God's called them to do? And also even with my own children. And so that calling really encompasses things that I do in my paid work, but also my unpaid work. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about what we dig into with the journey. So if you are anything, well, right before I jump into the next steps, is there anything you want to add?
Oh no, I think you hit on it. I mean, I think for me, my 2 words is championing potential. And when we dive into the things we dive into, and we take the time to pray, and we get into the Word, and we're having community, others feedback, and while we're doing it, you just get so much clarity around what is it that God uniquely made you for, and what you can do, and to be on that trajectory with Him, and knowing that it's really Christ that we're called to, and how do we use these gifts and abilities for His glory. And so it is really exciting. It's a game-changing kind of experience, and it really does set you up for a lifelong career, path for doing ministry, but doing the ministry that God's called you to, whether it's in the workplace or stay at home or in vocational ministry or whatever that looks like. God has a plan for our lives.
Exactly. And so maybe you've heard from others, maybe someone referred you and they told you about their journey, about their 2 words. And so you're excited. You want to be able to kind of get your 2-word calling and being able to simplify it down to that level. So yeah, how do you do the journey then? So the next step really, if this is something you feel like you are ready to do or are interested in doing, is to apply. The application process just lets us know that you are ready to move forward, and we'll reach out and follow up with you and tell you how to actually then register and get signed up for one of the upcoming journeys. But you can scan the QR code here. You can also go to our website, copassion.org, and you can fill out the application that's there, and that's all you need to do. We'll follow up with you once that application is submitted.
Super easy.
Yeah. So a couple other things. So we want to also show you Sarah's story, and then also answer a few frequently asked questions for you.
So my favorite part of the CoPassion journey was the community. I've lived in Jacksonville my whole life, but it was really cool to be in a place where I'm with people who want to learn more about God's purpose for their future and their career, and just growing together in that community. Through this journey experience, God has taught me that He has a purpose for my life and that that's something I can live out in my career. It's not just something I block out for the mornings and the evenings when I'm home, but it's really throughout the day. And so it was a great experience to learn how I can use what God has gifted me. I think I knew a lot about myself coming into the journey. I was at the end of my 4 years of college. I was graduating. So I kind of knew who I was, but I really wanted to make sure that what I had set forward was in alignment with God's will. And I think what I learned in the journey was that what I had thought about myself was pretty true and that it could be used for God's kingdom purposes. So I think it just gave me that reassurance that I was in the right place, in the right context. My 2 words are enlightening community. Through the journey, I learned that I really like people. Going into college, I was like, I don't want to work with people. I wanted to major in biology to work with animals, so I didn't have to be around people. But through the Passion 360, I learned that I really had this calling to work with people, and that something people noticed about me was that I enjoy relationships and community building. Enlightening community would bring the aspect of people, and then enlightening, I love truth, I love understanding and growing, and then a little play on the words there, enlightening, I love lifting burdens from others. So that's something I want to do in my career, is lift those burdens and just help the community around me. I would encourage them to just go for it. It's once a week, simple commitment, but it's something that you're going to receive a lot out of the investment of your time. And you also have people who are investing in you. They make it worth your time to be here. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself, either new things or just reassurance in those things that you already know. My name is Sarah Foster, and I am created to honor God and love others by enlightening community.
Oh, here we are. We're together now. Isn't that nice?
So nice.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hopefully that video was helpful for you. I'm looking at the camera like hopefully it was helpful to kind of hear Sarah's story and her perspective and how she found community and just enjoyed that part of it as she was in her discovering her unique calling.
Yeah. So now we want to answer a few frequently asked questions. So, Ray, what's the first question you think we frequently get asked?
Like, how often do we do the journey, or when is it, kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the journey runs every semester. We typically, even though we don't work with all college students, we tend to try to make sure it fits in well with the college semester. So we do a fall, a spring, and a summer journey. And usually it starts a few weeks after the semester starts, and we'll definitely wrap up before finals week. We know not everybody is a college student, but we want to make sure it fits in, especially those people who do have homework they're trying to work on. We want to make sure it's not too much of a load.
And we post those dates on our website too at CoPassion.org. You should be able to see those dates coming up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So another question we have is how often does it meet? This we do every 3 times a year, fall, spring, and summer.
Yeah, and then with the weekly meetings, will happen weekly. We do take time for a break. So, like if it's around July 4th or Thanksgiving, we take into the account. Then there's like some holidays like that. So often there'll be breaks. So we build the journey schedule out around that.
Yeah. And then like what day of the week? What we do on the days is we do it based on what everyone can do in the group. So you don't need to worry about, hey, do we do this on a Thursday or a Tuesday, or have a church or a Bible study on a Wednesday? We'll actually craft the meeting time around everyone's schedule, what works best for everyone.
Yeah. So once we know who's in the journey group for that semester, then we'll find out what everybody's schedule is and try to base the meeting time and the weekly meeting time around what's convenient for everybody.
Then how much does it cost? How much does it cost, Melissa?
Well, for Journey for Testament, it's actually free. It doesn't cost anything. And the journey is not free in of itself.
Yeah.
But it's actually paid for through sponsors. And so all the funding that's needed to cover materials and food and all the supplies and things will be covered by sponsors. So for those of you who participate, there is no cost.
Yeah. And then I think one of the last main questions is, can you bring a friend like to come with me to be a part of this? And the answer is absolutely yes. You can bring a friend with you. You don't have to. You can meet and make new friends, but you can definitely bring a friend with you to be a part of it.
Yeah, so just have your friend also apply so that we know they're coming.
Yes.
So we do need to know how many people are going to have in the journey. But yes, we'd love to have you to invite your friends and have them come be a part of it with you as well. So just have them do the same application process, and we'll get them signed up and registered as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw that slide back up here one more time. Let's see here, just so you can see it. get share that slide for you just in case you missed it the first time. So we'd love for you to apply. And like Melissa said earlier, we will be in touch. It's super easy. You just apply. We'll be in touch with you about next steps and help you along the process. So you want to pray for everybody? Close it out.
Sure. Father, thanks so much for this time. Thanks for those who are just watching this video with us and following along. And we just pray that you continue to guide them on their next steps and give them clarity in their journey and their walk with you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We look forward to meeting you. All right, take that next step. It's worth it. All right, see ya.